Okay, what I'm going to do now on this desk, this is just like a wooden cheap work bench type thing, and it is a cheap one that I'm using. I was going to put some of these, these are like felt pads in a way, some smaller ones and some white bigger ones, and these are just like big enough to fit under the edge there, but I don't know if I would want white. Would be distracting to see them under here, and those are also too big, about this size, to go like down the edges, because you would probably want some support not just in the corners but along, because otherwise it's like having a beam in a way with some pressure in the middle. It's going to bend and flex a bit, although this won't bend really. I'm talking about that, I've still got some wobble on this stepper over there. I'm not sure if it's a bracket, if it's a coupling or the actual threaded rod. Now some people are saying, yeah, it can be the actual coupling actually, but I do think it's more the bracket. So basically, anyway, we'll look at that later. I've been checking the temperature, by the way, which I'll show you later, using this VC99 and using one of these. Now this has been totally out, but I'll talk that in a separate video, I think. First of all, I'm just going to stick these to the bottom. So I'm going to probably put two every so often, because that's quite wide, and some down the sides. So here we are looking at the bottom. So here's a Z steppers either side. And then I'm just going to peel these off. Put one here, try and get centre as a starter. So these will help dampen any vibrations, stop any scratching if this has ever moved to anywhere. You might want to make sure that doesn't get scratched. Quite easy to do, you just peel these off here. It might be hard for you to see, but they are in the corners there. Then I'm going to use this tape measure to sort of get, so from one end of this to the other, it's 390 would be an awkward size. That's 100, and I would say, well, it's 300, half of that is 150, plus half of 90 is 45, so it's 195, which is right on that stepper actually, where the centre of that stepper is. So I think what I'll do is spread them out, not just one in the middle, but like one here, maybe one in the middle, one there. Let's put the one in the middle first. So I can use the centre of the stepper there actually, because that is right in the centre. Leave enough, one either side. Okay, then I want the centre between that one and that one. Actually that's 200 there, that's 200 there to the centre of that, so I don't know where I got that other measurement. So 100 mil is there. I don't think we need to be precise that much, so long as it's, this one's a bit awkward to come off, it's sticking to the, so you're getting the idea there. I'm just going to go around doing this. I'm going to put some along here, likewise spread them out so that's got even like pressure on, and then I'll come back when I've done that. So there we are, I've got one here in the corner, one on this sort of other bracket right in the end, one here which is sort of halfway between the centre of the stepper and there, one almost on the centre of the stepper, another one here, again between the end and the centre of the stepper, and one on this end of this like angled bracket which is the side, one there, right on the veil, likewise there, one here in the centre where this Y belt is, and one in the centre of that Y belt there, likewise on the veil here. Actually that one's a bit out, but probably won't matter too much. I might peel that off and move it over, and likewise the same on that side. That's it really. I think, because I do like neatness, I'm just going to move this over to the right, and then I'm going to set it back up as it should be. So there it is, so done. And if you're on a slippy surface, or a shiny glossy surface, you probably want something like that to protect your surface that it's on. But that will probably help dampen any vibrations. Not that I've noticed any, because I haven't been printing with this. I'm still waiting for an extruder stepper driver, because the one that was in the control unit wasn't working. One thing I'm going to be doing is actually, you might notice that these wires are frayed on this heater. So what I'm probably going to be doing is actually looking at, I do have another I have a couple of heater cartridges, but this is okay because the wire inside there is okay. It's not going to short out or anything. I'll probably fasten this to this boarding tube, I think, but I haven't really figured out that. I'll probably pass it up through here, because then it won't have to go around that belt. Okay, through there, fasten to this boarding tube, and then that will move about with the boarding sort of tube. By the way, I think fitting this on this side, it used to, I think it's supposed to almost go on this side, but really that won't make much difference. It's that when it was on this side, it certainly got knocked off, because as I say, that just hooks on. See, so when this extruder, I'm going to call it an extruder, a feeder, because there's arguments which is an extruder. Is that the extruder, the hot end? This is the cold end. When this carriage was going up over that side, there was a bracket on there that was actually knocking this off, just coming up and knocking it off, but it's clear on this side. So that's the side I'm going to keep it on. I'm going to be looking at some way of having like a spool holder. I was actually going to drill in the side of here and put some sort of bolt on with a tube on so that can roll, but I might not do that. That's something I don't particularly want to do, is drill in the side. And the other improvement I'm going to say about is these. This is where the bed goes on. Is I'm going to turn these upside down and have the nuts on top, I think. These will probably have to be cut down, they're a bit long, these balls. But I mean, these have like a nut on the top of this acrylic. It's acrylic with a metal sheet underneath, the same size as the acrylic, same shape. There's a metal sheet under this acrylic. There's a nut under that side, there's a nut underneath, so there's no way of really adjusting these, because those two nuts are locked together and they have to be reasonably tight Otherwise, see, this one's a bit loose now. This could wobble and cause problems when you're printing and such like. So I'll probably thread this nut up the other way, put a nut, well, bolt up the other way, with the head downwards, and put a nut there to lock that on, and then there'll be a nut on the top that can like turn a hole, probably a washer. We're going to be looking at that in a few minutes. As I say, I'm still waiting for the driver, stepper driver for the extruder. I've been testing the heating, I think I said, so I'm going to do another video showing you the heating and issues to do with that a bit. So I'm going to be looking at this wobble that seems to be on this side, and that is the bracket that was really badly damaged over there. And when I first put this on, and oh yes, I have done all the balls, by the way, I've changed all the balls, and these have like nylon locking things in these balls, so they're unlikely to come loose. These are what are known as button head Allen screws, balls, 3mm. Nearly all the screws are 3mm actually. The only ones I haven't been able to get are these really long ones. Those are about 60mm going from that side to this side. I can't get that size with these button head Allen balls. I probably can just get normal Allen balls. That's probably what I'll have to get, because some of these are loose. Some of these, well, all the nuts were a bit loose. I have put some bits of cardboard in the smooth rods, the guide rails, whereas these were loose and rocking, and even this one was actually moving a bit up and down, and it was moving up and then clunking back down when I was raising the cabbage up. But now those are pretty solid, but although they're solid, I've still got wobble definitely over here. It's not a lot, but it's enough to go to impact it, but I'm going to be looking at that. So this is just a bit of an update, and then I'm going to do a separate video about the temperatures. Right, so looking from the bottom again, I just want to show you these balls. Sorry about that scraping there. But basically there's a metal plate here with the acrylic on top, and then the print bed goes on here, and there's some springs. A nut on that side. Washer and spring, and the other washer, and then that washer pushes down, and then the bed goes on top of that washer. But basically I'm going to turn these upside down. Sorry about the lighting here, but I'm having a bit of problems. So this is how it was. And basically there's no way of really tightening that. No real way of tightening that, because there's a locking nut there on this other side and a nut there, and those have to be tightened against each other to stop this like wobbling about. But with this method, that's locked in there. One nut, it is a locking nut anyway, but then that's reasonably firm in there, and then basically a spring, and then the bed on top of that. I'll show you that when I'm finished. And there's one of the pads I've been putting on. So here's the bed actually on. You see, it's got these nuts at the top now. There's a keyhole there. So at the moment I haven't really adjusted it, so it's a bit loose. this all slides on there, and then pull it forward a bit to get it into the keyholes. And then when it comes to adjusting, just use this sort of nut driver, which is part of this toolkit. Very good toolkit, although I think that the button head 3mm ones are 2.5mm hex on the top, so they're a little bit loose because these do a 2mm I think, and a 3mm. I'm not sure actually, can't be bothered to really look at the moment, but I think that'll be easier to adjust because now all I have to do is get my nut driver out and give it a turn whichever way, up or down depending, and that's it. So that's an update of that. Oops, that's my light. Just show you that wire that's tied up to the board and tube. That's for the heater and the thermostat.